All right, let's pull back the curtain on something you use every single day but probably never think about: your computer's processor. We're going to follow the incredible high-speed journey of just one single command, from your mouse click all the way down into the CPU's core. It's going to be a wild ride. You know that feeling, right? You double-click an icon and poof, the program just opens. It feels like magic, instantaneous. But in those tiny, tiny fractions of a second, your computer is buzzing with activity, executing millions of precise instructions. Today, we're going to slow things way down and follow just one of them. Think of this one little instruction as a message in a bottle, navigating a massive city of circuits. Our mission is to map out its entire trip, from where it starts in your computer's memory all the way to the grand finale, its execution deep inside the CPU. So first things first, before a computer can do anything, it has to know what to do next. It needs a to-do list. And, just as importantly, a way to remember where it is on that list. This is ground zero. See, every single piece of data, every bit of code, every instruction for every program, it all lives somewhere in your computer's memory. And every single one of those little slots has a unique address. It's literally like a house number on a very, very, very long street. Without that address, the CPU would be completely lost. So, how does the CPU know which house to go to next? Well, it has this special little thing called the program counter. The best way to think of it is as the CPU's personal bookmark. It's a tiny register that has one job and one job only: to hold the memory address of the very next instruction it needs to grab. It's the engine that keeps everything moving forward. Okay, so the CPU knows where the next instruction is. Awesome. Now, how does it actually get it? The instruction isn't just going to magically appear, it has to travel. And for that, it needs a road, a really, really fast one. In the world of computer hardware, that road is called a bus. It's basically a shared set of electrical pathways that lets all the big components, like the CPU, the memory, the graphics card, all talk to each other without needing a million individual wires. It's an elegant solution to a very complex problem. And honestly, this is the perfect way to picture it. The bus is the data superhighway connecting all the major districts of your computer city. It's what keeps everything from becoming a chaotic mess of traffic jams. Now, this highway is pretty smart. It actually has different kinds of lanes for different kinds of traffic. The address bus is a one-way street. The CPU uses it to shout out, "Hey, I need the information from this address." Then, the data bus acts as a two-way street. It's the road that carries the actual data back to the CPU, or sometimes from the CPU to memory. So, one bus handles the where and the other handles the what. And you can actually calculate how much traffic this highway can handle. You just take its width, which is how many bits it can carry at once, and multiply it by its speed or frequency. So in this example, a 16-bit bus running at 133 megahertz can move 266 megabytes of data every single second. That number, the bus bandwidth, is absolutely critical for how fast your computer feels. So our little instruction has traveled down that data superhighway and has finally arrived at its destination: the CPU. We are now entering the processor's inner sanctum. This is where the real magic happens. Right inside the CPU are these tiny, ridiculously fast storage spots called registers. You can think of them as the CPU's personal workbench. They're not out in memory with everything else. They are physically built into the processor chip. That proximity makes them, without a doubt, the fastest possible memory in your entire computer. And this table really lays out the trade-off, doesn't it? Registers are insanely fast because they're right there, on the chip. But their capacity is minuscule, measured in just bytes. Your main memory, your RAM, is way bigger. We're talking gigabytes. But because it's physically further away, it's also a whole lot slower. So once an instruction lands in the CPU, it goes through this fundamental four-step process. It's called the fetch-execute cycle, and it is the literal heartbeat of your processor, repeating billions of times every second. First, fetch the instruction. Then decode it, get any other data it needs, and finally execute the command. So step one, fetch. The CPU uses the address from the program counter to go grab the instruction from memory and copies it into a special register, the current instruction register. Now it's on the workbench, ready to be looked at. Next up, decode. A special part of the CPU called the control unit examines the instruction. It's like a translator. It figures out what the binary code is actually saying. Is this a math problem? Does it need to move data? The control unit is the brain of the operation, figuring out the game plan. Now, sometimes an instruction needs more info, right? Like if the command is add two numbers, the CPU first has to go fetch those two numbers. Once it has everything it needs, we hit the final, most important step: execute. The control unit sends out signals to other parts of the CPU, like the arithmetic logic unit if it's a math problem, and tells it go. The command is carried out, and as soon as it's done, the program counter clicks over to the next address and the whole cycle starts all over again. Phew, so we've seen the entire life of one instruction. But what makes this whole process happen at the blinding speeds we're all used to? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. See, it's not just one thing. A computer's speed is a combination of everything we've talked about. It's the width and the speed of that data bus. It's the raw clock speed of the CPU itself, the size of the registers, the amount of RAM you have, and one more crucial piece of the puzzle, something called cache memory. Let's just circle back to our data highway for a second. We talked about its speed, but why is the width so important for performance? It's actually super simple when you think about it. More lanes on the highway means more cars can travel at the same time. A wider bus can move more bits of data in a single clock cycle. That means a 64-bit bus can move double the information of a 32-bit bus in the same amount of time. It's a massive difference. And that brings us to the final piece: cache. Look, even though main memory is fast, it's still way slower than the CPU. So to bridge that gap, engineers created cache. It's a smaller but much, much faster bank of memory that stores frequently used data. Think of it as a little pantry right next to the CPU's workbench. The less often the CPU has to make that long trip to the main memory supermarket, the faster everything goes. So, from a simple address and a program counter to a complex execution cycle, that is the secret life of a CPU instruction. But as we keep shrinking these components, cramming billions of transistors into a space the size of a fingernail, it begs a pretty cool question for the future.